How's it going, guys and geeks? Welcome back to the Geekritique Show. We're your hosts. I'm Jen.
I'm Dakota.
And we're going to review the Christopher Robin movie. I keep calling it the Winnie the Pooh movie, but it's Christopher Robin.
Christopher Robin.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about that.
All right, so we actually saw it last week. Obviously, it came out last week. And it had very mixed reviews. And we wanted to give our, throw our voice out into the void. And hopefully it sticks onto someone's screen and someone watches the majority of the video, gets our message and just throws it in the bin and says we're stupid.
Yeah, that's what usually happens.
Yeah. But before we begin, I just want to apologize for being absent for over 2 weeks now, it feels. The last video we did, Jen wasn't even in because it was that trailer breakdown.
It's been a while.
So it's been a very long while since we've actually sat down on the couch and discussed things with you guys and geeked out together. But we're here. We have videos planned for this week. Not just this one. We have another video about anime if you're into that. On the topic of what we're working on, I have not such a secret project anymore, but a new project that is going to be debuting on this channel very soon. Here's a look at the logo of But Is It Canon? As you can guess, we're definitely going to be discussing a show's canonicity, like how it relates to the overall canon it's supposed to be related to, if it even is part of that canon.
If there are any plot holes as far as
right.
Past canons that we have.
Exactly.
This was Dakota's idea, and I think it's really cool, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what it turned out to be. But anyway, back to the review. Jen, what did you think of Christopher Robin?
So I was really upset. I think that Thursday, our brother-in-law sent us IGN's review, and I gave it a 4. Now, you guys saw our show reaction forever ago. I was so ecstatic for this film to come out. I was really, really excited. And when I saw that, my heart just dropped, and I was less enthusiastic to see it. Not because I am that impressionable that, I hear a bad review and I think, oh, that movie's garbage. It's not that. It was more of, I just hated that I got any indicator. I like going in with a completely clean slate.
Yeah.
And the fact that I got any indicator of how the film could potentially be just kind of irritated me. But then we ended up seeing it, and I really liked it. I do not think it was a 4 at all, IGN. Not that you're watching, but I did not think it was a 4.
Someone in IGN
I could see some... We lost one. It's a very interestingly paced film. It's very different than what you would typically see, especially in a kid's film. I get, why it's a bit unconventional, so it's not for everyone. But for someone like me who loves, comfortingly gloomy, cozy things, this was really, really fun.
Yeah, I also enjoyed most of it. I would have given it a positive review too. One thing that the film does really, really well is nail down the characters of the 100 Acre Woods. So Tigger and Pooh are voiced by Jim Cummings, and I think in the cartoons that we're used to, he voices actually all the animals. While I appreciate the actors that they brought in to fill all those roles of the 100 Acre Woods characters, I really wished we would have gotten the actual voice of Piglet and Rabbit and Eeyore and all of them. That said, the characters were written spot on. They acted exactly like I would have expected them to act. From Al all the way to Kanga, but the character that obviously really shown from the Hungry Acre Woods, the 100 Acre Woods,
too. Is
Pooh Bear.
Pooh was perfect. He was perfect. We saw it on a late viewing on a weeknight, so there weren't a lot of kids in the audience. There were a couple, but not a lot. And it was all adults, and every time Pooh said one of his classic little nonsensical lines, we were all dying laughing. Yes. It was he had some really great lines, but also some really touching lines.
I think everyone's in agreement that Pooh was great in the film. I actually haven't even read any of the reviews, just because I kind of refuse to do stuff like that before actually giving our review here. But what I can imagine people really clinging on to was Christopher Robin and his growth as a character as he moved away from these toys in the 100 Acre Woods, as he grew into adulthood. And without going into too many spoilers, he is no longer in touch with his childish side.
Yeah, which you get from the trailer, I mean.
Right. I do see that it could have gotten a little depressing.
Yeah.
It did get depressing at times. It
but the trailer also conveyed that.
Right.
So...
I actually thought it was going to be more depressing. Which, honestly, I'm probably very masochistic in this sense, but I wanted it to be more depressing. Like, I wish it would have, like, hit me in the feels a little more before bringing me right back around to just, like, you know, loving these characters.
Yeah, I had definitely anticipated crying, because the trailer, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so emotional. But I didn't actually cry. So, not that I, like, you know, wanted to cry necessarily, but I feel like they could have hit a little harder emotionally. I agree with that.
There was really only one or two parts that I was, like, just crushed as an audience member, having known these characters.
Yeah.
And both of those times were perfectly in character.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like you said earlier, it did have some weird pacing. Unconventional pacing is what you said. I would actually call it just odd pacing. I think the first 2 acts of the film were very much about Christopher Robin and him dealing with being an adult and kind of being a not so stellar family man. Once you jump into the 3rd act, it's all fun and games. And it just felt to me, it felt out of nowhere.
To me, it didn't feel out of nowhere. I think it was that they changed point of views. That makes sense to me. Like, that was like a logical shift.
That said, I will say I liked the first 2 acts of the film much better than I liked the last act. Now, they do touch upon a lot of adult themes in this story, but in my mind, I feel like while it feels like it should be geared towards adults, it's very simplistic ideas that children can also understand.
The beginning, though, I feel like it moves very slowly for a child.
Right.
It, like, pretty much until, like, Pooh starts coming and saying a lot of his, like, adorable stuff. Like, there is, like, a time where I was kind of thinking, like, I wonder, like, if I was a kid, how I would feel about this. Right.
And there were a few kids in the audience, and I didn't hear any stirring, besides, like, the baby that the person next to us brought.
Newborn baby.
Newborn baby, like, in the theater.
No older than 3 months.
Thanks, woman.
Late at night, too. I was like, this kid should be in bed. Put a baby in a crib. I really loved Haley Atwell's character.
Okay.
She doesn't get as much screen time as I would have liked, but the things that she does say, I think she is a great character. Mm-hmm. Just as a whole, I think she's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, her as an actress, fantastic. But this character, really great. Just within the confines of the limited screen time she got, she ended up conveying, like, a really strong character, which I thought was fantastic.
I think the acting all around was really well done. Ewan McGregor also nailed it as Christopher Robin, like an adult Christopher Robin. Obviously, it's a very different character than, like, the 100 Acre Woods version of that person, but the beginning of the film kind of shows how he could evolve into that person.
Oh, I hated that part, actually. It was like a weird montage that they did.
That was kind of weird.
It was weirdly done. Like, something about it wasn't right.
Like, it didn't sit.
Yeah, it just didn't. It was like, you knew you were watching a montage, but it didn't really come across the way
it didn't capture you the imagination that you'd expect from, like, a Winnie the Pooh movie.
Yeah. Let's
get into spoilers. Let's talk about some of the stuff we really liked and some of the stuff that we really didn't like.
Yeah, my favorite scene was when Madeline wins Wimbledon.
Was that actually your favorite scene?
No, I just thought that was really cute. No, it wasn't my favorite, but I really liked it because she's like, it just works so well for those characters because all of their, like, victories are, like, make believe. So they totally just bought it. Like, yeah, congrats on Wimbledon. They don't even know what it is. They're just happy for her. That's the best.
The scene in question, if you haven't watched and you're still watching up to this point, is Madeline is making pretend that she's playing tennis at a tennis court. And there's no one on the other side of the net or anything like that, but she's like, and she wins Wimbledon! And then, like, the animals come out and they're like
clapping with it.
Congratulations on winning Wimbledon!
They're so genuinely happy for her.
Yeah. All the scenes with Pooh, every single one, he steals a scene. It's actually, like, I feel like they realized how much of a scene stealer he is, because when the other animals are on screen, they limit Pooh's exposure.
Oh, that's true.
He's very quiet when the other animals are around. And it makes total sense in my opinion, just because he literally stole every scene. Like when he's in Christopher Robin's house and he steps on the plate of honey and just starts walking on the carpet, and he's just like, "Your floor is very sticky." It's so stupid. It really is so stupid. But the juxtaposition of logic and like just dumb wisdom is
it's the best.
I love it.
Or even when they're in the train and he's trying to do work and he's like, house, tree, woman,
bush. Can you do that a little quieter? House, tree, bush.
It was just so cute.
It is. That's one thing that the film really has going for it. It is like an abundance of just cuteness.
Just cuteness all around. And that's why I could picture myself, like, I love all the, like, cozy clothes and, like, you can almost, like, feel that chill in that, like, the characters are feeling, and it's just so comforting. I love movies like that.
What we were talking about with, like, the story feeling disjointed with the first two acts and the second, or the third act. The point of view shifts from Christopher Robin to the stuffed animals and Madeline.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, she's a kid, and these are, stuffed animals from the imagination of a child. So they're going to be childlike.
Yeah.
And it does get very whimsical. And I think it's the interaction with the other people in in the world, basically, that kind of just doesn't sell it to me. Like, you said you loved Haley Atwell. I also loved Haley Atwell up until she met the other stuffed animals, because I just didn't feel like it was a genuine interaction. Like, I don't know, something about it.
Well, I don't think she
short.
even felt like it was a genuine interaction. She probably thought she was losing her mind.
That's possible. That's definitely possible.
Because there's this, like, when she first meets them, they all get into the car, and she's just like, she has like a state of like shock on her face.
Is that donkey talking?
Eeyore.
How are you doing, sir? Don't get me started.
On the ground where I belong.
Eeyore's one of my favorites, but what was your favorite scene?
For me, it was the scene where Christopher Robin is bringing Pooh on the train.
Okay.
Because in the train station where he's like, I would really like a balloon.
Oh, that balloon went on an adventure, man. I love that.
And he just really, really wanted a balloon. He's like, it would make me so happy. And then they bring it, and it's just, and he's asking, what's interesting is he's asking Christopher Robin really, like, questions that you would have a really hard time asking someone, even a close friend. Like, does that briefcase mean more to you than your daughter? You know, how do you say that, even if you see a friend of yours putting their career before their family? How would you even go about asking them, like, are you doing this? Like, do you care more about your career or your family? He puts things in such cute ways, like, you can't get mad at him, but it's just so interesting. Like, it's almost like he's, Christopher Robin's conscience saying, like, this is wrong, like, what you're doing isn't right, but he says it in such an interesting and simple way.
Just shortly after that scene on the train where they're in the 100-acre woods and they're looking for the other stuffed animals that turn out to be hiding from the heffalump. When Christopher Robin explains that he needs to let go of some of his employees, and Pooh asks, did you let go of us? That's a scene I will never forget. That is.
I thought it was, did you let me go?
Well, yeah. Did you let me go? Or something. It was either did you let us go, as in the stuffed animals, or did you let me go, as a very, like, personal question. And it hit me. Like,
yeah.
I wasn't tearing up at that point. I think I teared up a little bit when Christopher Robin reconciled with Pooh.
Yeah.
And Pooh just hugged him and said it's okay, or something like that. That'll haunt me forever, honestly. Ugh. The fact that you can actually tell your stuffed animal.
Well, the fact that he said, to me, it was not that when Winnie the Pooh asked, it's like heartbreaking, and then when Christopher Robin says something like, "Yes, I suppose I did," you're just like, Like, he's such a jerk.
Yeah.
He's such a jerk. You're like, how do you even say that? That's like, how do you say that to Pooh? Like, I want to slap the crap out of him.
I know. Well, he did.
He came to his senses later, but the fact that he said it, I was like,
yeah.
Could you let Pooh go?
Ultimately, I feel like the film is, it's mostly what I wanted, mostly what I expected. I expected a little more tears and stuff to be shed, just based on the trailers that we received. Pooh's voice is just one of, like, the most nostalgic things I think you can think of. I don't know. I really had a lot of fun with the film, even though, you know, my critical sense did tell me that there were several parts that just didn't feel like they connected to the overall picture.
Mark Gatiss does a great job at being hateable.
As always.
As usual. I was gonna say as always. I was like, that sounds a bit mean, but it's true. He's so good at... You just want to dislike him. You don't know why, you just do.
He's just such like a posh British gentleman that just is very like, he just sneers at you.
Yeah. He's a woozle.
He is a woozle. I loved all the woozle jokes. I got a big kick out of that. There was so much I loved about this. There's also a lot that I didn't, but that's every movie, really.
Yeah. I mean, there's no perfect film. I do see how this could have been better, but I know that on a rainy day, if I'm, like, feeling really, like, tired and, you know, grouchy, this movie's gonna hit the spot.
Yeah, that's one of those.
Like, it's one of those, like, I'm gonna make some hot chocolate or something and curl up and watch this.
Definitely.
So, I mean, I think it still does capture what Winnie the Pooh was for a lot of kids.
We want to send a thank you to Arthur Tellez, our latest patron on Patreon. Thank you for your pledge. It really does help us continue putting this content forward, because we know that you guys want it, and you're willing to help us fund the actual production of it when YouTube doesn't always.
That's true. And also, it came at such a nice time because we've been so slow lately, because we're going through schedule changes and all of this. It was really nice to know you guys still care, you guys are still contributing, and you're not, like, harassing us like, where's the next video,
right. But we very rarely get that kind of
so
feedback.
It's just been like, you guys are really great, you're like a great audience, and we're really happy to have you.
Yep. So, guys, if you want to catch the other videos that are coming out this week, as well as the But Is It Canon series, please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified of any and all releases that we do. Be sure to like this video if you did like it, or dislike it if you did not like it. That's on you. But thank you guys so much. Have a good one.
Bye!